Peace and love, family and friends, naysayers, whomever. My name is Leon Wheeler Jr., and this is Master Making in Motion. And today's brief talk will be about it's all about the babies. This is a subject matter that's near and dear to me. I don't profess to be an authority on this. I've studied it while incarcerated. I took time to contemplate and review my upbringing. I know what works for the most part, what probably could have or should have been done differently, and share my thoughts and my ideas with you. I've studied this. Uh, Again, not an authority, but I have faith in what I'm about to share with you, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to use it, utilize some of the information to help you better become a parent and help you with your children. Now, first and foremost, I must make it also clear that, in my opinion, today's children are worse than I've ever been. And it's not their fault. And I realize that it's because people do not take the time to actually share with their children what is needed. And most of that comes from because, most parents are young themselves. Most individuals, the majority of individuals usually have children around the age of when they're in their 20s, or 19 to 20. And without a doubt, you're still a kid yourself for the most part. You just produce some children. So you don't know a lot. I know that's a fact because I'm now 60 years old. And really, to be honest, I think I had my first epiphany at 50. And I was like, wow, this is, so I believe that we don't really grow and mature enough to really be parents. I think the old adage was the reality of it said it takes a village to raise a child or children. I believe that's the fact. And in the old traditions of our ancestors and forefathers in Africa, the elders, from my understanding, did most of the raising of the children. It's almost like as if the youngsters, we can bear children, but we wasn't really mentally prepared to raise children because, again, we're children ourselves, having children. So I said that to say that we wasn't given a game properly. And another thing that we must take in consideration that really is hurting today's children is, I was blessed to experience some of the community togetherness. I lived in what I would call a community. Today we have neighborhoods. I mean, that was a village. Most of the people in my neighborhood, in my community, in our community, were able to reprimand me and discipline me if necessary, correct me. Today's neighborhoods, you might live next door to somebody and you've never been formally introduced. Everybody is so standoffish and afraid to, you know, I guess to violate someone's space, more or less. That's because that's what we're looking at it now is our space. It's almost like a prison mindset, that arm reach stuff. Stay in arm reach. Stay in arm reach. Don't you're getting too close. So we don't have the same camaraderie that we had when I was a child, and that affects us because again, uh, the neighbor can. Pretty much chastise me if necessary, if they thought it was really a necessary situation. And if they told my father or my mother, I had it coming again. So there's a different upbringing, it's a different scenario. And that hurts because there's no more village. Again, we're living in a neighborhood. And when I look at a lot of the children today, I mean, it hurts me. It hurts my heart. I feel like, because I was a bad child, no doubt. And I realized what bad behavior brings because it's the boomerang effect. Whatever you put in the universe, it comes back. And a lot of these kids are very disrespectful, they're rude, and it's because they get it from their parents or they're not being disciplined or told the right thing by their parents for whatever reason. And this is not an attack on anybody. It's just, I'm just bringing some awareness to the scenario and hoping that we can possibly come up with some ideas. And I'm gonna share some things that, I've come across. And hopefully this is probably going to turn into be a series. I'm sure it's going to be a series of talks because this is our future. And we have to invest our very best in our children because the children, again, are our future. They're going to be the parents. They're going to be the caregivers. They're going to be, so we want to give them the very best that we have to offer. We have to. It's indicative. It's a must. And we got it in us. We've become lazy, somewhat trifling, unfortunately. And hey, I get it. It's not an indictment. It's a fact. And I look at us as one. When I see these young brothers and sisters out here, these little kids, I'm touched and moved because I look at them as it's a part of the tribe. It's a part of my extended family. I love you all. I don't like a lot of stuff I see, but I love the kids, and I don't like disrespectful kids. But again, it's not the kid's fault. So what I'm going to suggest today, for the most part, is what I've suggested in my book, Code and Ethics for Upcoming Players. Matter of fact, I'm going to read something out of it. And I've done this before, I think actually the same page, coming from the same chapter. Yeah, it's the same chapter. Who is best suited to groom an up-and-coming player? That's chapter 6 in my book. I wrote this book some 20 years ago, and it's just a guide. It's a basic format just to help us become better individuals because that's what it's all about. We want to be the best that we can possibly be. And we want to reflect that, and we want it to be reflected in our children to see that. So, again, this is coming from that particular chapter, and it's page 32 is who's first for the game. Now I'm going to just skim through it to make my point because it's important to me. It said, for polished parents, the babies are first in the game, and that's because they know and understand that children are our future. Yet, so many of today's parents aren't mentally prepared to properly teach children. So, rightfully so, the game must be, let's see, the game must be shared from them. This isn't coming from the book, I'm speaking off the top. Let's say, so right now, being first belongs to the fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, uncles, and aunts. And the moment they properly lay claim to the game, they become duty bound to share that information with the young. So we got to start with us. It's got to start with the parents, the elders, and we got to get back in tune because we're lost. We're all over the place, and we're not giving the children what they deserve. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this also that, in my opinion, a child it's the most precious, the most wholesome gift that the Creator has endowed us with. This is the most grand undertaking that we can take in. Now, I failed as a parent because of my incarceration and my ignorance, and I look back and I see how I was, I had to pay for that. I had to pay for my discipline, my being all over the place, disrespectful or unruly. There's the boomerang effect. So what you put out is coming back. And behind that, I ended up in penitentiary. I ended up doing 23 years. I've been shot up. I've been abused mentally, psychologically. I've been, I've been through hell. And now this is my way of redeeming myself. I'm striving to give back. And that's what my books is about. That's what this channel is about, motivating us. And right now I'm trying to motivate the parents because, like I said, we're the caregivers. We're in charge. So it's indicative. It's a must that we come up with ideas, things that can help us better prepare our children because they're our future. We have to do this, and we can't This isn't a job that it's a 24/7 job, 7 days a week. There's never no off day. If you get an off day, it'll probably be once they turn 18. And you really still don't. Now, if you do the job properly, in my opinion, if you start off right and you do it, you may get some early release from the duties. You may be able to kind of relax and coast when they're 14 to 16. Hopefully you can do it at 12 and 14 because you didn't set the pattern in motion. So we need to start early, but wherever you're at, you need to jump on the bandwagon and do what's necessary because we got to save our babies. That's what it's about. It's about them. So I'm going to suggest that a few things that I think that the parents should focus on to start this particular series. And one of the things is you definitely need to take in consideration. It's a mandatory scenario for the most part. You have to create a loving, caring, supportive, safe environment. You have to make sure. I read a story back in the day, and I'm not a religious person, but they said about that Mary spoke about it in the Bible, was said to figured that she was found that she was pregnant, and she wanted to make sure she brought up her child because she was told that she was going to have a blessed child. He would be the savior or for humanity. And it's a story. And so the first thing she knew that she needed to do, she needed to raise her child in a safe environment. So she went to her so-called cousin, Zachariah, and she said she wanted to. So the first thing we need to do is secure an environment that's safe and conducive for our children. You need to and that's a demonstration of love. You need to teach them what love looked like. So even though most all mothers normally, for the most part, the majority of the mothers love their and that's where I got most of my unconditional love. That's where I learned what love was, basically through my mother. So that's something that you all do, the females do, the mothers do, off the rip. Man, I don't know, my eyes. So, but but real love, something that I'm really intrigued to learn and be a student in, and I speak about all the time. I want to be love made manifested in human form. So that's something that's intriguing to me to really understand love. And the only way that to me, when we mention love, it's got to be unconditional. It has to be without conditions. So we're going to say, I want you parents, the parents, to look at love from an unconditional standpoint. And what I mean by that is, to teach our children that we love them irregardless. We love them just because you're my child. And I know you're already doing that, but I want you to bring a little more thought into the scenario. So we're going to love them unconditionally. We're going to show them what that looks like. And we let them know, irregardless of what you do, whatever you do, we love you just because you are who you are. You know what I'm saying? And we want to nurture that. And that's an idea. So you teach them what that looks like by being that to them. And we want to teach them about respect. So we have to learn how to respect them. Show them what respect look like. We have to show them, we have to be kind to them and respectful to them. Showing them that, and then we employ that they take that which we do to them, our teaching of being respectful, and they take that out into the world and be respectful to others. We have to show these children these things. You know what I'm saying? We want to focus on their strengths and magnify them. So you have to pay attention to them. Focus on their strengths, and you praise those strengths. You know what I'm saying? You praise those strengths. So we have to, first and foremost, I want us to, the mothers and fathers, the parents, to take a look at what I've just mentioned to you. Look at these few things, and let's try to implement these things into our lives. We want to create a wholesome environment where the children can feel safe and secure, to be free, to think freely, and be the best that they can be. We want to teach them how to be respectful. And we're going to show them what respect look like because we're going to respect them and teach them to respect others. and we want to focus on their gifts. We want to praise them, praise the gifts. So these are just three things that I want us to focus on at this particular time. Now, again, this is going to go on, and I don't want to stay here a long time going back and forth, back and forth. But I want us to parents to take these three things in consideration. Three things. We want to make sure that our children feel safe at home, secure, to be themselves. We want them to be respectful. So we're going to teach them what these things look like by being those things to them. They're always watching us and waiting to see how we exhibit ourselves. I said it before. The first guide I ever knew was my mother, so I paid attention to what she said, and she did a decent job on me. I mean, she was young herself. She was in her 20s when she had me, her and my father. So they didn't know, and I applaud that. That's what the village is for. That's what it's for. So we have to learn how to, or even because we out of practice. You know what I'm saying? We so divided now that we don't know how to assist each other because everybody's at arm reach. You're getting too close. You're getting too close. Back up, back up, back up. Too close. So we don't utilize the talents that we have in our families, in our neighborhoods, and we have to claim we have to claim these things again. We have to take these things back, start all over, and they didn't have it all the way right then. They were, since we've been in the North America, in my opinion, we've been getting weaker and weaker and weaker. We've been getting, we started off here. I think we were even stronger when we were slaves on the plantations. We were being abused by the oppressors, but I'm saying we still had a real love for family, so we tolerated stuff and we did things to stick together. And throughout time, they bred that out of us really for the most part. And then the integration came and then we just ran aloof. We just wanted to be accepted and we lost ourselves in that. But that's another conversation. I don't want to go too deep down the opposite direction. For now, it's about the babies. I want us to focus on the babies. Focus on becoming the best human beings that we can be an example for them, and showing them through our examples of what we want from them. If you want this from them, you have to be it because they're paying attention to us. And it's not easy because again, we've been conditioned, and in my opinion, trained to go against what we need to be doing. And it's clear, because we don't work together. So if I said anything in this brief monologue that you think can help somebody, I beg that you share it with them. Because that's the only way my channel will grow. Our channel will grow because it's about us. Each one teach one. Teach what you want to learn. So I want to learn how to be the best human being I can be. I want to learn how to be love made manifested in human form. I want to be a master. So I'm sharing this information with you. I'm teaching it as I find it useful. I'll share it. What I think works and it worked for me, I'm gonna teach it. Because this is what I want to learn. And my repetition of teaching it, I become more astute with it as well. Because it's about us. Together, we stand, divided, we fall. These are cliches, and I'm not really a cliche guy, but I take the best that I can find in the world, from wherever it comes from. I don't have to look at it and love it, every aspect of it, but the best part of it, I'll take it. I'm not a hater. Never been a hater. I don't know it all, and I know I don't, but I'm a student, striving. I'm not a follower. I'm striving to be a free thinker, so I challenge stuff, and I applaud that you challenge. If you hear something I said that you can use it. If you don't, just let it go. Let it be like water on a duck's back. Let it roll off. Don't just let it go. But if you find something useful, or you know someone that can use it, share it with them. Because that's the way my channel can grow. That's the way the channel grows. So I need your help. I implore, I beg that you like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'm going to say this. My books, again, is Code and Ethics for Up-and-Coming Players, King, A Master in the Making. These are parenting books. That's what they are. These are blueprints, my idea, my love, my of helping our children grow to be the best that they can be, to be giants. You know, my lingo is to say gods, you know, God and goddesses. You know, we are that. So, as always, I suggest that you be the example you want to see in the world. I say simply, just